Happy Saturday, everybody. Another live stream on Saturday. Bridget is here. Hello. And Triple J is here. Holland Oates is here. Hello. Happy Saturday.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Sounds good. Yeah. Producer Jesse is here on a Saturday. It's very rainy here, too. Rainy Saturday today, which doesn't even feel like summertime. Wind, rain. If you've been watching the weekly vlogs, you know how crazy the weather has been here this summer. It's been really interesting. But we're here on a Saturday.
That's right.
We are here on a Saturday with, and of course, we have a topic today. We're going to talk about food. I was going to say foods that feature film, but that's wrong. Films that feature food is what we're doing.
That's right.
Yeah, I just reversed it.
That's right.
So, very sad over the passing of Martin Mull, which we heard about last night. Jesse and I were watching this. I think you're mostly listening, but I'm watching this thing called The Cool Kids, which is a series from the UK. Bridget said the UK is in a heat wave.
Oh boy.
You know, we had a little bit of a heat wave last week.
Yeah.
Last week, or the week before that. But now it doesn't feel like summer to me.
No, it's pretty mild so far. It's supposed to go up to like maybe 85 next week, but then it's going to go back down to the 70s.
I mean, it would be nice to have a little warmer weather, I guess. I don't know. It just feels like the fall or the spring or something. I mean, it's fine. Whatever the weather is, it's totally fine, right?
I know, but I'm surprised like that next week is July.
Next week is July. That's correct.
And the weather doesn't seem warm enough.
It doesn't really seem warm enough. You're right. So we were talking about Martin Mull, who is one of my favorites, of course, from years ago. You know, I watched that Letterman channel too, where they have old. If anything happens to anyone, they usually will post an old interview, and there's an interview with Martin Mull, one of his first appearance on the David Letterman show from 1982. So that's up there on the David Letterman YouTube channel, which I was watching earlier today. But it's really sad news. And he was in a series called The Cool Kids, which I'm watching on Amazon, which you can't really get physical media for. They'd only had one season. And I was watching that. I started watching that over a week ago. Hey, Wayne. Wayne says, I'm afraid I can't stay as I'm heading out for a ride on my motorcycle with my nephew. Oh, wow. That sounds fun. I don't think I've ever been on a motorcycle.
Really?
Never been on one.
I have.
Wayne is going out. It's, probably completely fine because he's probably been on a motorcycle for a long time, but I've never been on one. So I hope you have fun, Wayne, and welcome everyone too. And so I was talking about the Cool Kids. Speaking of the Cool Kids,
yeah,
it's a series from 2018, I think 2018.
Yeah, isn't it like Charlie Day's project? Charlie
Day from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which we need to watch too. I don't know if anyone's watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but we should probably try to watch that as well. We are going to talk about films with food today, but I thought I'd mention a couple of other things before we get started and give others a chance to join if anyone else is around. But thanks for joining today. And we're usually on for about an hour with these live streams, and we'll always answer questions or take a topic from the chat for next week. What else can we say about Martin Mull? I guess we were just looking at Martin Mull's career because he was on a bunch of different shows. He was in that movie FM, which I like, which is one of my favorites.
Yeah, he was in Clue, which I really liked.
Wayne says, I've been riding motorcycles for over 50 years. I'm 72 years old. Wayne, wow, that's amazing. I wish I had that kind of a record, but I just had I had a birthday last week. I didn't mention that, but I did have a birthday.
Yeah, like this week.
Or the past week, which I mentioned in the vlog a little bit too, but wow, that's a lot of experience there, Wayne. And Wayne's on cruises, I think too, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm just, I'm all over the place today because of the rain, I think.
Yeah. It's a bit of a downer.
It's a bit of a downer.
And it's still dark and gloomy.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Martin Mull. Exactly. I'm glad Wayne, brought us back on topic. Yeah, he's a great actor. And if you haven't seen The Cool Kids, Wayne, that's a really good one. It's on Amazon Prime.
Well, you have to buy it. It's not streaming.
You have to buy it, but it's only $11. It's like 50 cents an episode, and it's so funny. I felt like it was so funny, and we were just watching him in. What was the other thing we were watching him in? Till Death. He's in Till Death. Yeah,
like in the later seasons.
Yeah, the later seasons. He always played these really unique characters, very kind of mildly sarcastic humor, which I really liked. I really liked Fernwood Tonight, as I mentioned earlier, which you can see on YouTube. There's no physical media for it. But it's but that's really funny. His interview style is really funny. I got immediately sad last night when I heard the news. I think because I'm watching the Cool Kids.
Yeah, we've been watching him for a long time, and he's also in Roseanne.
He's in Roseanne, yeah.
Role he had.
He was in that movie Clue, right?
Clue. Yeah. He was also, I think he was the principal in the Sabrina the Teenage Witch reboot in the late 90s.
Right. He was in Arrested Development, right?
Yeah.
We saw, which we haven't seen, but. Wayne says, my wife and I are heading to Australia. I've been thinking about Australia. I know you probably don't like the idea of Australia, but for some reason, Australia has been of interest to me lately.
I mean, I
don't know why that is.
I think it's a cool place. It's just the flight is very long.
I know, but we could sleep on the flight. I mean, we don't have to.
I mean, but from New York, isn't it like 24 hours on a plane?
I don't know. Maybe Wayne could tell us how long it is. I don't know, but Australia and New Zealand. I don't know. For some reason, I've been fascinated with Australia lately. There's no reason for that because they have big insects over there and lots of stuff happening.
But the weather is more like, what is it? Temperate? Is that the right term?
I guess so. Mild. I'm not really sure, but
it's not like, because we looked at their winter, and their winter is like our autumn.
Right? I think they're having winter right now.
Right, but their temperatures are like in the 60s.
It's only in the 60s, yeah. But that could be cold for here. I don't know, but Wayne will have to tell us what we should do. It's a 15-hour flight. Oh, that's nothing. We don't have to worry about that.
Oh, that's nothing. Oh my goodness.
I could sleep, right?
Going from New York to California
I could sleep.
Long enough.
I could sleep. I mean, I've been to all, when I was working, I've been to Japan and I've been to India. I've been to a bunch of different places, but I don't really like the long flights. But anyway, I don't know why I'm so fascinated by it. Why am I so?
It could be cool. It's just a lot of travel. It seems
15-hour flight. Well, Wayne can tell us. I wanted to mention another thing too. So we've been watching I mentioned this in the vlog, and by the way, we're having a lot of fun doing these weekly vlogs, which we do, which are out on Monday. So they're out on Monday mornings if you're interested in the weekly vlogs, and where we take a little bit of video every single day, and then we stitch it all together, and then you've got a weekly vlog of stuff we're watching or things that are of interest, or me in the car or something like that. You in the car. We're both in the car, but
I think this week's the vlog that goes up on Monday, I think you see me in it.
Yeah, because because we had a whole discussion last week about the Wegmans cart, the new Wegmans, not the new Wegmans cart, but they have some of these larger carts that are much better for if you're, because we don't use the big shopping cart, we use a smaller one.
Right. So during last week's live, we talked about, we went into whole detail in the extended behind the scenes live stream.
Because we went over an hour last week.
In the vlog, we talk about, we show you the cart.
Yeah. So you'll see that cart if anybody's interested in that. If anyone has a Wegmans near them, that's the kind of cart that we use. Not that that's
high quality content we're delivering.
High quality, high quality vlog content. But anyway, we're having a lot of fun with that. But in the weekly vlogs, we've been talking about. If you're not following me on Letterboxd, you can always follow me on Letterboxd. It's in the description. My link is in the description there, and I keep track of everything I'm watching, everything we're watching. You have a separate one.
Yeah, I have my own Letterboxd, but I only record movies that I've watched like the majority of.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of films, but if I'm not paying 85% attention, I don't typically put it in my Letterboxd. Yeah,
and before we get into the topic today, I just wanted to quickly mention, because I don't think I've ever logged this many films, and I'm just going to read my queue from the beginning of June. I'll just read these really quickly. It's not really the beginning of June; it's really closer to the end. From the 21st, Curse of the Undead we watched, which I just bought a physical media copy of. Curse of the Werewolf, which we liked. The Deadly Mantis, House of Dracula, House of Frankenstein. We've seen a lot of these before, but House of Horrors was a new one, which we really liked. The Incredible Shrinking Man, which was really good, which was one of my favorites as a kid. And by the way, the Criterion sale is happening right now too. You can get the Criterion release of The Incredible Shrinking Man on Criterion, which has a lot of extra features on it. The Invisible Man returns. We have Captain Clegg, which is night creatures in the U.S. Tarantula. I know you don't like the bug films, but it was pretty tame. I felt like.
Well, it's just like a forced perspective tarantula. So he's giant, but he's really not.
Yep, exactly. Terror in the Isles, which is kind of it has a lot of clips. If you're not familiar with horror movies, I thought that was pretty good. I remember seeing it a long time ago, from 1984. Of course, we rewatched The Thing, which I've seen many, many times, from 1982. I'm not sure, but I think that might be my favorite movie, my favorite horror film of the 1980s is The Thing.
It's really good.
It's really well done. I could watch it over and over again. The big surprise, I think, was Tremors, which we really enjoyed, which was on again today, that I need to get a copy of because it reminded us of Jaws and Dune.
Yeah.
Speaking of.
It was really good. Really
good. The Boy Who Cried Werewolf, which was interesting. The music was a little weird, but we liked that. Bride of Frankenstein, which I happen to think is the best Frankenstein. I don't know if there's so many Frankenstein movies out there, but I feel like that's the one where Boris Karloff is he has this I keep thinking of Young Frankenstein because Gene Hackman plays the character that he sees, that he visits with, that where they exchange things.
Yeah, in The Bride of Frankenstein has been like living in the countryside, and then people start to bother him again, and he like lives with this man in a cottage, and he like teaches him language, and it's a really good one.
But I like that better than the original
Frankenstein. I have another thing to talk about after this. So
okay. I'm almost done here, I think. Dracula's Daughter, the evil of Frankenstein, which I liked, which we have. The original Frankenstein, The Invisible Ray, The Invisible Woman, The Island of Lost Souls, which I saw really for the first time, which is kind of like the original Island of Dr. Moreau, with Charles Lawton. Really, really great. Well done. The Mummy's Tomb, and then Phantom of the Opera. Phantom of the Opera, though, we had trouble with Phantom of the Opera because the movie actress here, by the way. Hello. The movie actress, I feel like a bum. I just got out. But it's raining out. We're ready to talk about food and films, of course. Yeah. Triple J said with the Criterion and Kino sale on Amazon Prime Day in July, I have a feeling wallets will be hurting. Which Universal monster would you like Criterion to do? That's a hard one. But I would say right off the bat, Frankenstein.
I'd say I want a box set of all of them.
Yeah, and we already have a box set of Frankenstein, but that would be great.
Like Criterion, box set would be nice. Yeah. Which reminds me of the fact that Universal Studios is opening a new theme park.
Oh yeah, we just watched that video, right?
Called Epic Universe, and one of the parks within the new theme park is called Dark Universe, I think, and that's where they're going to have the Universal. So the Universal monsters are getting their own like theme park edition, which is so cool.
I'm excited about that. I mean, if we ever get out of the house and go to a theme park again, that would be perfect. Of course, isn't it going to open in 2025, 2026, something like that? It's going to open in
like 2025, yeah. But it seems really cool. Like they're going to have the burning windmill, which is like iconic from Frankenstein. They're going to have like a Universal Monsters like ride, which is supposed to be like the scariest ride in the theme park, and there's going to be like all the electricity that like activates a lot of the creatures. Like
that's pretty cool. Yeah,
parts of the park. It's going to be very cool.
I can't go on those roller coasters, but I would be. They look like some other things I could do there probably.
Well, I think it'll be interesting even just to see like the ride videos to see what like if the ride seems like physically intense or if it's just very like atmospheric.
Yeah. We're going to get to the topic today too, very, very soon. But I just thought I'd mention that if you have Roku TV, there's a live TV channel with Universal Monsters, and we really love it. It's nice just to have on in the house too. I used to have, when we had TCM, I would have TCM on in the house a lot of times, and it's just kind of atmospheric. But was there anything else we were going to mention before we get started here with the films about food? We're going to have some food after this, probably some pizza.
Well, I guess like a films about food adjacent is that the season 3 of The Bear came out.
Yeah, mixed reviews on that, right?
Yeah. Well, I think we're just going to maybe just wait a bit and decide. Because when The Bear first came out and everybody was talking about it, we tried it and we didn't really like it. And then later we're like, all right, let's give this another try. When season 2 was ending, I think. Yeah. And then we actually really liked it a lot. So maybe we just need to wait.
We probably need to, because we're still working on Walking Dead, but since we've been watching Universal Monsters, we haven't been doing Walking Dead, so we have to get back to that, I suppose. But
yeah, I thought we were going to finish by the end of July, but now I don't really think we're going to.
As we're going along here, you can always guess what's in the stack over here. I've got a few. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, this is 3. until 13. So 14 movies over here,
And
which I guess we were
the
just.
topic is films about
The
films.
topic is
food and film.
food and films, or films featuring food. One movie that I don't have, which is a film that has a diner scene, is the movie Diner, which I think has more than one diner scene, I'm sure, but we don't have that one. And also, I was thinking, since we're probably going to have pizza after this, Mystic Pizza also, which we mentioned last week, which I saw years ago, but I don't have a copy of that. So,
oh, we should have picked the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, the Ninja Turtles, but we don't have all those movies, do we?
Well, we have one. We have one Ninja Turtle.
We have the animated, right?
Well, yeah.
We have an animated.
Yeah,
one.
I mean, I want to see like the '80s ones again, but because pizza is such a big.
Oh, pizza's part of that. Yeah, yeah. So let us know in the chat what your favorite, if you have any idea, if you have any thoughts about films about food or films featuring food. But this is kind of an unusual one. But this is a science fiction movie. But The Martian Extended Edition is the menu. No, we have the menu, but we did not. I haven't had a chance to watch that, but I heard it's good. Pizza, yeah, pizza's coming up very soon, I think. But The Martian has an interesting. This is in the. He has a whole greenhouse, right? Where he has to make food and everything.
Well, yeah,
so this is kind of an unusual one. Not your.
He's trapped on Mars, so he has to use the potatoes in the rations to grow more food. Look at the
back of the steelbook. I love steelbooks that don't have a lot of advertisements up here. Just has the artwork and it has a little bit of something down here. This is probably one of the first steelbooks I picked up. Or that we picked up, right? Because it was a good price. The Martian Extended Edition.
I think we're more like, oh, we don't have this film, and it just happened to be in a steelbook.
We have to rewatch this too, because we haven't seen it in a long time, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have a double feature with Dune. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. That's a good, that's a classic. The potatoes, right, in the Martian, right, where he just has to make the potatoes, right?
Yeah, he has to grow them in his.
Is he making electricity with that? Oh, Goodfellas is a great one, which we didn't pull today too, but Goodfellas is really good because it's Goodfellas.
Sorry, my chair is squeaky.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Guardia's here. Hello. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Yes, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, which I'm sure I saw that movie a long time ago. Some of these movies, I love the chat too, because I get reminded of these other films that I haven't seen in so long, and then I go, I have to get a copy of it. I have to find it after this, right? Yeah. I think last week I was kind of scouring the chat to see what I need to add to my list because the chat is so good. We amazing suggestions that we don't have. You can't have everything, right? I suppose that's universal. You can't have everything. So The Martian. We're talking about foods that feature films that feature. Why can't I get that right? Films that feature food. Either way.
Films and food. Well, another one I don't know if we have it or not, but like one of the.
I can tell you if we have it.
One of the iconic scenes, diner scenes, is in 5 Easy Pieces, but I don't think we pulled that one.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that's right.
Where it's like
that's a Criterion too.
And he wants a turkey sandwich.
What's a turkey sandwich, right?
And she says no.
That's a great
it's
diner
not on
scene.
the menu, no substitutions. He goes through a whole big deal about basically like mansplaining how to make a turkey sandwich.
Yeah, and but that's a good Criterion recommendation too. 5 Easy Pieces has a Criterion release.
Oh, Holland
Oates said Matilda, Hook, and the first Harry Potter.
I was thinking about Hook, but I didn't pull it because there's a really great like feast scene. Like they use their imaginations to like make food appear, and it's very cool.
I mean, I think we might have been talking about this last week, but there's some, everyone has to eat, right? Usually, so a lot of films don't have, food scenes or meal scenes or anything like that, right? And
there's never just like a break or like, oh, and then we had to eat. Oh, but
the Phantom Thread.
Heartburn has a lot of good food in it.
Yeah, Heartburn, which I have a copy of too, but I didn't pull it. The Phantom Thread also is a good one. Has a similar restaurant scene. That's interesting. Oliver, Bridget mentioned Oliver, which is good.
Matilda has a really good like chocolate cake scene.
We probably should have said what movie doesn't have anyone eating in it, because a lot of times, we always ask, like, if we're watching The Walking Dead, when do they eat? I know it's a TV. We get down to the fact that it's a TV show, so they can do whatever they want.
Just like decide, like, oh, we haven't eaten in a while, but like you don't really see them like stop and eat.
Even though I think in the later seasons of Walking Dead, right, they have a whole, people are gardening and stuff like
Yeah,
that,
like
right?
they
They
make
have to
bread every
make
day,
food,
they
that
just
kind
like
of thing.
somehow
Mhm.
learn how to do all this stuff.
Yeah. Happy to answer any questions too as we go. It doesn't have to be on the topic either if you have other questions, but what else do we have? Oh, speaking of eating scenes too, and this is one, I have multiple copies of this movie and I need to get the 4Ks probably at some point, but this is the Godfather trilogy. But of course, the Godfather, the first movie, as I mentioned last week, every time I watched The Godfather when I was younger, I don't think I've done this in a while. I would make spaghetti in the middle of the film.
Yeah, we should do that.
Take a break. I think it's right before Michael goes to Italy is when I would make spaghetti and meatballs or whatever. But this is a nice little addition. This has like a number. I thought this had a number. Oh, the limited edition 7240 of 45,000, which seems like a lot of they made a lot of these. But this is kind of a cool. What's that?
Does it open like a box? Like, can you open?
I mean,
the front,
I think I can open it, but I don't. Let's see. It's gonna all fall apart here a little bit, but I can open this part of it right here. There's that. But I need to get the 4Ks for this, and I have digital copies of these, but The Godfather's good.
Well, when we watched The Sopranos, we wanted to make pasta a lot.
Yeah, I know. Well, Sopranos has a lot of food scenes in it, right?
Yeah.
Triple J said, when I think of a food scene, I think of Inglourious Bastards with the apple strudels.
I haven't seen that movie in so long.
Yeah, the movie addict said we were going to pull this one too, When Harry Met Sally. That's one of our favorite movies that we watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has a unique way of ordering a sandwich as well.
She has exactly. There's a lot, yeah. Were we just talking about the breakup also, which we didn't pull, but the breakup has a great dinner scene.
Yeah, in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's so many though, there's so many films. I was realizing too, as we're going through the topics, that you could really classify any of these films, not necessarily any of these films, but the films we've talked about before as road pictures or summer movies. You know what I mean? Like, it has elements of lots of different things. You could classify it and say, like, here's one that I think we've talked about a few times now on the live streams and on the channel, but this also has a great food scene in the beginning, Little Miss Sunshine. One of my favorite food scenes in a movie is in this movie.
Yeah,
the beginning, right?
I always want to get a bucket of chicken after I see
but a bucket of chicken. I mean, Alan Arkin is so funny in this one, but this one we've talked about as a road movie.
Yeah.
And coming of age movie.
Yeah.
And it's got food in it.
It has actually two really great food scenes because at the beginning, the family eats the fried chicken dinner, and then later there's a diner scene where she orders waffles a la Modi with ice cream.
A la Modi. Yeah, waffles a la Modi, which is our normal breakfast now is waffles, right?
Yeah.
Usually. So those are a few right there. I don't know if anyone wants to guess what else I have here. You can. I'm going to be hungry after this. Look, I'm glad we're going to get pizza. Yeah. This is one of my favorite movies, but you don't really like it, at least because I quote too much from it. But this is one of my favorites.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's just because I feel for Matthew Broderick's character because he's always it seems like he's just really stressed out. This
one seems like it should have a Blu-ray, but this is the Cable Guy, which also has a great food scene in it. And if you're a Star Trek fan too, I love the quotes in this. The Cable Guy with Jim Carrey and Matthew Broderick, and I love this. I have a digital copy of this one too, but I don't think you like it because I quote a lot of lines from it. I'm always saying "good one" as an example.
I know, but then I have adapted that to my own vocabulary, and then you're like, "Why did you say that?" And I'm like, I don't remember that it's from that movie. And
it's from that movie, yeah. So anything we do, we say "good one." Yeah.
No, they go to medieval times.
Medieval times, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the really funny Janine Garofalo scene too, where she says, "I got tables." I got tables,
he's
man.
Trying to order.
He's trying to order he's trying to say can you talk like you're from medieval times, And she's like, I got tables, man.
He wants two canters of mead or something.
Yeah, whatever. Like she's like, man,
this is a family establishment. We don't have.
She's like, you know what? I can't. Yeah.
And she's like, is Pepsi okay? And he's like, yeah, because they had Pepsi in medieval times. She's like, hey man, I got tables.
Isn't that the thing in these worlds now? Like if you go to a theme park or something, everyone stays in character, right? Like that's part of the experience now too, right?
Yeah.
And so, I think when we went to, did we go to Universal? We went to Disney. I can't remember where we went. Universal, right? everybody's, we wanted to get something and everybody's in character,
Oh
everybody.
yeah, I was like looking at something. I was like, "Oh, are these the ones from the movies?" And she's like, "What movies? These are
Everybody,
these
they
are
were,
from real witches
these are
and
from real, this
wizards."
is from real life, from real
And I was
wizards.
like, "Oh, pardon me."
Sorry about that. The movie addict, Ratatouille, one of my favorites too, which I have. I'm glad you guessed that in the stack. Look, I have the 4K for this one. This one in particular, makes me sleepy, so I fall asleep sometimes during this one. But it is a great one.
It's really good. I think
Ratatouille.
another one about food would be The Princess and the Frog, but I haven't watched all of that.
I haven't seen it. Is that on Disney Plus?
Yeah, because she wants to open her own restaurant, and that's
Yeah.
like a big part of it.
Yeah, this has so much food in it, right? And it's so great. I mean, I love this movie.
Also, Brad Garrett's in it.
Brad Garrett's in it. Maybe that's why I get sleepy, because as we were talking about before, everybody loves Raymond. We like that.
And King of Queens.
And King of Queens.
And this has Brad Garrett
and this has everything.
Patton Oswalt in it. So you're familiar with the voices.
I'm familiar with the voices. It's very comforting, and sometimes I'll fall asleep. Justin said Ratatouille. Some love for Ratatouille right there. Ratatouille. I'm glad we pulled this one because
it's a good one,
yeah, it's a good one. Good one.
Good one.
Good one.
That's what happens.
I keep saying good one all the time, and then if I keep saying that all the time, I know that's not the best. I guess this is a good topic because of the fact that The Bear season 3 came out. We so much like the first 2 seasons,
Yeah. Well, I think from what we've read, season 3 is a little maybe like trauma processing heavy, which can also be a little bit tough for some people.
Yeah.
Like that one episode in season 2,
with Jamie Lee Curtis. Is that the one with Jamie Lee Curtis?
Like 7 Fishes. Like that one was really rough. And then I think there's going to be more of that because there's a lot more like family history to like unpack.
Yeah. I don't know if we mentioned this last week, but we canceled Netflix after a month.
Yeah.
And I was going to make a video about it, but I feel like I for whatever reason, we couldn't find anything after a year and a half that we really wanted to watch, except for the Gene Wilder documentary and a couple of other things. Anyone But You was good.
Yeah.
That was a good movie. There's a couple of other things on there I want to see, but I was so disappointed. And of course, I'm a physical media person anyway, but we do have some streaming services. And I was looking for recommendations for Netflix, and many of the stuff. Yeah, after a month. Justin said after a month. Yeah, after a month, we just canceled it because there's nothing on there that I want to see. I feel like it was just a lot of the shows have moved off to other services that we used to watch, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of the shows, like, we just didn't feel that good when we were watching them.
Yeah, a lot of the
Not
shows
that you have to feel good when you're watching things, but like it just didn't. I don't know, just didn't like keep us interested.
Yeah, I don't know why. And I was asking. I mean, we still have it, I think, till the middle of July. So if you have any good suggestions for Netflix, let us know. But I think we talked about it in a couple of videos, and I got some recommendations, but some of the stuff I'd already seen.
Well, and I think also we were like kind of deliberately avoiding like getting invested in a show that had like 5 or 6 seasons because we knew that we wouldn't be able to.
We wouldn't be able to do it, yeah. Like
within 2 or 3 months.
But I think we gave things a try.
Yeah.
But I feel like when we were going through it, I felt bad that I couldn't find anything. Yeah. I thought I should really be able to.
Also like the big 4 that we would have the most interest in on Netflix, we already own digital copies of. We have The Walking Dead, we have Seinfeld, we have Better Call Saul, and we have Breaking Bad.
Yeah, Breaking Bad.
So other than that, we wouldn't really there wasn't a whole lot of reason for us to have it.
That's true. Justin said I have 0 streaming services. Andrew also mentioned Big Night, which we have a digital copy of. That's another one, the Stanley Tucci movie. Which I mean, Stanley Tucci's got his own. We really like that cooking show that he did.
Oh yeah, I
right?
think that might
or
be
the travel. It was a travel show.
Maybe on CNN or.
It's on Max. It's on Max, I think. Yeah.
So does Justin watch physical content then?
Justin, tell us. Do you just watch physical media then? I mean, we have the Criterion Channel now. We have Amazon because we order from Amazon. We have Disney Plus and Max.
Disney Plus, Max. Mm-hmm.
But it's slowly getting to the point where we'll probably be canceling because we have everything we would like to see.
I mean, considering that we're very entertained with the free service on our TV right now.
Yeah, that free service. I mean, Roku, like I said, Roku's got a lot of free channels. And I thought the commercials would be really loud and annoying, but they're really not. They're really not.
Right. I haven't tested it either, but they do advertise that they have a Roku app. So you can use your phone as the remote, and you can like cast
Stream.
it to your TV.
Yeah, stream it to your TV.
So if you don't have a Roku TV, you may still be able to watch the Roku channel, but we haven't tested it because we have two
Only
Roku
physical,
TVs.
yeah. Spaghetti westerns, that's a good idea too. The movie addict said this spaghetti westerns, that's great. We didn't pull any of those, but those are good, very good.
But
yeah,
we don't
anything.
really like eat spaghetti in the spaghetti western.
I mean, they do. There are some eating scenes, I think, at least from what I remember.
But westerns in general have some decent food scenes, right?
Yeah. Only physical. Justin said only physical media. And I think we have a lot of physical media, but we still have streaming services, I think mostly to preview things. This movie, of course, pretty obvious. Chef, which we've seen, which is a DVD of Chef with Jon Favreau. I think there's a great grilled cheese scene in this movie.
Yeah, there's a good one in Anyone But You.
I was trying to think of, written and directed by Jon Favreau too. Where he's got a food truck, right? He leads a hilarious all-star cast, including Sofia Vergara, Scarlett Johansson, John Leguizamo, Bobby Cannavale, Dustin Hoffman, Oliver Platt, Robert Downey Jr., and others. So that's a good one. Chef is really, which we haven't seen in a long time, but man, when they make that grilled cheese in this one, this is really good. What was that other thing where we saw there was a grilled cheese being made?
Anyone But You.
Anyone But You.
Made a really great grilled
good.
Cheese.
Yeah.
Twice,
I was really surprised by that. I like when a movie surprises me.
Yeah.
And I feel like Anyone But You, but we might have been in the mood for it. But I thought that was good. But that could be classified as having a good food scene in it too.
Yeah.
Hall & Oates said, I need to see Chef. Really enjoyable. And I think there was even some promotional material when the movie was coming out. I remember Jon Favreau being on TV making the grilled cheese or working with someone else. I don't have Boiling Point in the stack. I don't have that one, but that's a good suggestion. Let's Talk Criterion said food and films. You've got Julie and Julia with Meryl Streep, of course, and Tampopo, which we have also. So that's one in the stack right there, which is a Criterion. So if you're interested in the Criterion sale, you can still get this one. Babette's Feast, also another good one, which I don't have that one, but this one is spy number 868 and available. I should probably tell maybe a little bit of the story, but it's going to be in the weekly vlog. You'll hear the whole story, but we went to Barnes & Noble yesterday, and was there something on that? It's a little wrinkled, yeah.
Yeah, I might be able to fix that, but
yeah,
it just looks like it was cut strangely.
We went to Barnes & Noble yesterday. We have a Barnes & Noble that's pretty close to us, and it was really surprising because they didn't have any of the Criterions out. And so I went to the desk. I mean, you know the story, but I went to the desk, and they actually pulled out a box of Criterions from the back for me to go through on the, at the desk.
Like a physical cardboard box.
Like a physical cardboard box. And they said, we're going to send these back to the other Barnes & Noble since they're having the sale.
That's further away.
That's further away for us, right? Which we always used to go to anyway. But we got a couple things, and you'll see that in the vlog, the weekly vlog. But I was pretty disappointed. I was trying to talk. I don't think you were there because you were looking at books, but I was mentioning, I said, it'd be great if you could keep these here. It'd be great if you could, they're not going to listen to me, but I thought it was, it would be great if they could keep those in the store. So we have another reason to go. Not that we don't like to go to Barnes & Noble anyway, but.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's a little bit disheartening or discouraging when Barnes & Noble is the one hosting the sale, and then this is a new store that opened this year, and they don't have any real space for keeping the Criterions. Yeah. And I understand their reasonings, I understand their reason, but at the other Barnes & Noble, I feel like the same problem may still happen. So I don't know if that's like a real valid reason for not having Criterions in the store. Yeah.
Justin said I had to do the same thing. They had a shipping box of Criterion. Why are we going through shipping boxes at the counter for Criterion? That's for Barnes & Noble. I mean, that was kind of surprising. We did go through all the titles though. We sat there and went through each one. Yeah. They were reading titles, and a lot of them I had already.
Yeah.
But it was funny to see that they were just, here's a box, and then they found another box, right? They had the big box, and then they had a smaller box. They said, here, look at these if you want these. I just hope they keep those there, and I can always ask. And I thought I'd have to go in the back room to
Well, yeah, and like even right now, because they have the copies in the store, you can buy them online and then pick them up in store. So that's nice. But if they move them to a different store, they won't have them.
Yeah, and these are all, simple issues. But I mean, I was on the Barnes and Noble website yesterday, and we were looking for title. We selected the store that's closer to us, and it was very clear that I wish they had a way to sort on the Barnes and Noble website so you could see what's at your store.
Yeah, like
very
have a page
easily.
that you
Yeah,
just-
because you have to scroll through pages and pages of stuff,
yeah,
which is not good.
no.
So
I also think they're really missing out on like the like most of the time you look at your list and you look at what might be in the store, but then when you're in the store, you'll look through the titles they have, and then you might pick up some things you weren't planning on picking up, but because it was there and it seemed interesting to you, you grabbed it. So having to go through a box of titles, you don't really get to like browse and impulse buy because you like, supervised shopping for titles.
yeah, and it seemed like they were shipped some of the new releases too, because a couple of them that I didn't pick up, I know were recently released, and so they did get a shipment of a couple of titles to that particular store. It just would be great if they could, we were thinking like maybe they could have put like a display up at the front that could be watched a little more closely, or just put all the titles behind the counter.
Yeah.
So then I can just look at them, or anyone can look at them, and then you can decide if you want to, pick it up, or put the box sets. They didn't have any box sets either, right?
Yeah,
Except
for
the
Barnes and Noble, they have the box sets like the
behind the counter. Yeah.
Behind the
Yeah.
counter. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they have a sign upstairs where the DVDs and Blu-rays are that says there's box sets downstairs behind the counter.
The movie Addict said also, by the way, the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, which I haven't seen, but maybe we saw part of that.
Food. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's got a lot of meatballs in it, I guess. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Yeah.
Justin said I got the 4K of Lone Star. I've been getting Blu-rays. If the 4K is too expensive, I usually go with the Blu-ray. Hello, Scalder. Hello. Welcome. We're talking about films with food that have a food theme in them.
Or a good food scene.
To Die For, which I need to pick up. Peeping Tom, which I need to pick up. A lot of the ones you're mentioning, Justin, too, are on my list. But I did pick up the. You'll see this in the weekly vlog, and also it'll be in a haul video. But I did pick up the Eric Romer set, the latest Eric Romer set, and the Chantal Ackerman set, which had been on my list for a while.
Yeah.
But it'll be in the weekly vlog on Monday, and then I'm probably going to do a haul video maybe next week sometime. I'm not really sure, but there is also a Kino sale going on right now too. So if you're a fan of Kino Lorber, I was looking on their website today, and it looks like they've got a lot of great releases from Kino, and that sale will be going on, I think, until the end of July.
Oh.
And the Barnes and Noble sale goes on to the end of July too. So you've got a lot of time if you're interested in any of these films to pick them up, which many of them you can't see anywhere. I mean, I think one film in particular we were talking about you can't see anywhere is Tremors, right? It's not streaming anywhere.
It's not streaming anywhere.
So that's one that I need to pick up, which we thoroughly enjoyed, by the way. But of course we were probably in the mood for it. So if there's any questions too, let me know or let us know, and we'll be happy to answer those. And we'll keep going here. I mentioned this one before, how much I enjoyed this one, Waitress. But there's a movie that's the inspiration for the musical. So there's a movie called Waitress, and then there's Waitress the musical. So this has a lot of sweet food in it, pies and such.
Mostly pies.
Pies and stuff. Yeah. So, but I love this. This is a great musical. We watched it online. I got a digital copy of it, and then I thought I need to buy the physical copy. But this is so good. I think it's I thought it was being released. Correct me if I'm wrong. If there's anyone from the UK here, I think it got released in the theater in the UK. I was reading a lot of things, or I follow their Instagram, and I think it was released in the UK, which I absolutely loved it.
Wait,
Waitress.
So you follow Waitress the musical's Instagram?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You didn't know that?
No. Sorry, my chairs.
I follow we
didn't
both
know
have
they had
squeaky
one.
chairs. Squeaky chairs.
Yeah.
They do. Because they were hyping up the fact that it was going to get released in theaters. I think it's this version too that's getting released in theaters.
That's cool.
But if you get a chance to go see this in a theater, I would have loved to have seen it. I would have gone to the theater to see this if they had it out here in the US.
Did you say something about like Merrily Roll Along might get a
Merrily We Roll Along, I think, is going to get
release
filmed.
sometime?
Well, I think it's going to get filmed. I don't know if I don't know where they're going to put it, but for the food stream I'm watching right now, Arrow Blu-ray of La Grande Bouffe, aka The Big Feast. Interesting. Wow. Very nice. Good one. See, I keep saying good one.
Yeah.
From Cable Guy.
That's right.
Good one. I think that I'm pretty sure that's from Cable Guy.
Yeah.
It might be from some other things. I was going to mention this one right away. I was going to mention this one before I did.
This one. So
can I show this one? Am I going to show this? Can I show the top of that?
Do you want me to put a post-it on it? Then you won't see any.
I can do that.
I mean, I don't know.
I can do that. I think.
Risque,
How about this
one?
one?
Have to talk about it if you don't want to.
No, these are also good too. I'll put this over.
Well,
I don't know if I'm even.
Their heads. You have to cover
the
titles.
What am I covering? I got to cover the titles. It's probably fine. White Castle. Harold Kumar. White Castle and Escape from Guantanamo Bay. Well, I don't know if is there food in that one. It's just the White Castle one, right?
The White Castle one.
Yeah, the one
mostly.
All right. Anyway, got that one. That's what we pulled.
I didn't realize it was so.
Suggestive. Let's Talk Criterion said Waitress came to the West End Theater and also toured. I would have loved to see that. I would have loved to see that one. That's going to be a good one. A good one. I cannot stop saying that. I'll have to watch Cable Guy again. I love that movie so much. I don't know why, but I just think it's so funny. Here's a classic one with food. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And of course, there wasn't a remake of this one, and then there was Then there was Wonka too, which is not the remake. And then there's Wonka.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, and then there's Wonka.
And then there's Wonka, which is like a prequel.
Yeah, the prequel, right?
But this is the only recognized version in this house.
Yeah, this is the only one. Well, we tried to watch Wonka, but we didn't. I guess we didn't like that, but. I have to say also, it's not that we don't like certain films. I think we're just not in the mood for them. So I give it a try many times. I'll try to watch a movie 2 or 3 times before I finally give up on it.
But this one is hard because like when you're used to the iconic scenes of like going to the chocolate factory and like the river of chocolate and like the boat ride in the tunnel and everything. Yeah. You're used to all those things. It's hard to watch a remake when it's just very different.
Yeah, I love the stories that Gene Wilder tells too about the stories about the movie, which in Remembering Gene Wilder, he tells that story about the beginning of the beginning of the movie, so that that he's going to be unpredictable, that the character of Willy Wonka will be unpredictable because of the stumble that he does in the beginning, right?
Yeah. And I really like that about his character. Like he's been locked in his factory for so long creating these things that everybody loves, and then so there's going to be there's some isolation to that, and there's some randomness, which is nice because it's nice to see that he's not predictable.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Justin said it's the songs. Yeah, that's so true, Justin. The songs from the original Wonka movie that are unforgettable, definitely, and those we sing a lot too, right? We have to be careful around here because if we show a movie, sometimes I will start singing it probably.
Yeah, things get stuck in your head.
I'm running out of movies here too, so.
I love like when the kids like misbehave and get into trouble, and then he's never like shocked by it. Like there's that one where like her son Mike TV gets shrunk down. You remember that one? Yeah. And she's like, oh my God, like she's like so like stressed out because her kid is like, 3 inches tall now or something.
Oh yeah,
he's like, help, police. Like he's so like he's just like not, he just doesn't care. He's like, oh man,
right, we
should help you, I guess. He's like,
Yeah, I was just thinking about the last scene where Gene Wilder told a story, or someone told the story about the fact that there's a scene at the end of the movie where Gene Wilder is yelling, right? Yeah, like
one of the last scenes, yeah.
But that it was kind of a surprise because they wanted to get a genuine reaction, and that's kind of a scary, well, not a scary scene, but a very like dramatic scene at the end where he yells, right? And I think that was not planned, apparently. Yeah, well, like they didn't tell the actor. They didn't tell the actor, that he was going to do that. Yeah. But then you get a genuine reaction, out of it.
Plus, they talked about how in that scene in his office, like all of the items in his office are cut in half.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Exactly.
So,
right.
Like a bunch of like everything is like set up like normal, but everything is cut in half.
Everything's cut in half. Yeah. What a great movie that is. There is a stack, Skulder. You can, if you have. So I only have two more films to show. I'll probably hold them for a minute here. If you can guess the two that I have, anything from the two that I have, or from ones we talked about earlier. So if you have any, if you missed any, because we went through a few of those, but we have a bunch of those that if you can guess one,
I guess we need
I'll
to
show
see
it
the
again.
menu because we haven't seen that.
Yeah, we need to see the menu. We have the menu, but we need to see that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting hungry now, and
Yeah.
but we're usually on for about an hour, and we'll go a little bit over too if anyone's interested
Oh, we
in
also
that.
haven't seen. Is it called like Burnt, like the Bradley Cooper movie?
Oh, really? I haven't heard
Burn or something, and he's like a fancy chef. And
Oh, maybe.
someone else.
I keep thinking of Burn After Reading, the Coen Brothers movie, but that's a different.
I don't think there's any food now.
That's not. Yeah. But Brad Pitt's in a tracksuit in that one for most of the movie, right? Isn't that the one where Brad Pitt's in?
I don't think he was in a tracksuit. I think he just there's that scene where he's like on the treadmill.
Oh, he's in that. Maybe that's just the one scene.
He's really silly. Oh, we should have talked about Ocean's 11 because Brad Pitt's character is like always eating in that movie.
Yeah, well, I think that's one of the things we liked about the show Till Death, right? Because Brad Garrett is always eating something. You have to imagine on these shows too. We often watch a show, and especially like The Big Bang Theory, where we look at what they're eating in the cafeteria. Yeah, they eat a lot in that. But it's interesting because a lot of times it looks like maybe it was craft services or something, right?
Yeah, like they're just like eating lunch.
They're just eating lunch that was probably, maybe given to the crew. I mean, I have no idea, right? I have no idea, but we just assume that when we look at what's on their plate, it looks like a craft services type of thing.
I saw that there was like a TikTok or something we saw of that one actor that was in a few movies. And he talked specifically about how he has to eat things in movies.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and he talked about
over and over again.
He's had to do it like almost like up to 70 times.
Yeah,
and that because if something is like sponsored, like if it's an ad placement, you have to eat it in the scene. So he had to eat like waffles or something like over and over and over and over again. And now
and then you never want to
eat that.
You never want to eat that again. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think like with Brad Garrett, like a lot of the times the food that they eat, the food that he's always eating on the show, and it doesn't seem like they show like brand names or anything. It looks really good, but I mean, he's always cooking something.
Sometimes he's like making Pop-Tarts or having cereal or ice cream
or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. And they, of course, they go out to eat in that show, but.
Oh, plus there was that one scene that one time he's like, "Oh, what you got there? Apples?" He's like, "Oh, I can't wait to throw those out in a week."
Justin said the beginning of Tremors, where they play rock, paper, scissors to see who makes breakfast.
That's true.
That's a good one. We can't stop talking about Tremors.
That's true. Yeah.
Hall & Oates. We should have prizes for this, but of course I do right here.
We have to see this one too because
we haven't
seen it yet.
Yeah, we have to see this one. But this is great.
Yeah. Where's Hall & Oates icon picture from? Is that from It's Always Sunny?
Yeah, is that where you're Hall & Oates? Is that from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Should we watch that?
Should we watch that? Yeah, because we were watching The Cool Kids, which was created by Charlie Day.
Charlie Day, yeah.
Yeah, Big Night we talked about. I don't have a physical copy of it, but I do have a digital copy of it. And we were talking about Stanley Tucci. So I don't have that in the stack, but we did talk about it. Sculder said, eat, drink, man, woman, which I don't have in the stack. I have one more film in the stack. We should watch It's Always Sunny. We should watch that. That might be our next thing that we're going to watch.
It's on Hulu, maybe.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Hall & Oates. Yes.
Oh,
we should watch that.
Then, well, because that reminds me, because they're in Philadelphia, and then
Chocolat. Yeah.
Till Death is also like in the Philadelphia area, right? And they go for cheesesteaks.
They go for cheesesteaks. I knew I was going to be hungry after this one. Chocolat also which is really good, which I saw not in the stack, but I know that movie. It's very good. That's a good one. Let's Talk Criterion said, "Do we show fried green tomatoes?" Which I don't have, but which I'm sure I saw years ago, but I haven't seen that in a long time. But that's a great one, fried green tomatoes. Yeah. I heard that one's probably right up my alley. But I have one more film here. Let's see if anyone can guess the last movie that I have. And then if you have topics also for next week, let us know. We do these live streams on Saturday now for about an hour or so. Last week we went a little bit over with some random conversation too, which we might do again today if anyone's interested in that. we usually just talk about, shopping carts at Wegmans, but
we'll talk about something else today.
We can pick something else today.
Yeah.
It's probably what our pizza order is going to be, but The Trip from 2010. I heard about that. I don't have a copy of it, but that's a great suggestion. These are all great suggestions, by the way, too. I love the chat. I love the fact that everyone has these great recommendations for films that I sometimes, we were talking about earlier, right? You can't have everything. And, every time I do one of these, I want to get more, I need to get more films.
One that we don't have, and like, it's kind of like a side plot, but I think in The Devil Wears Prada, her boyfriend is a chef, like a cook.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I think he also makes a grilled cheese in that
I mean, anytime a film makes a grilled cheese, we're all in, right?
Yeah.
We kind of touched on it a little bit, but Everybody Loves Raymond. They eat a lot of stuff, right? Because Marie's always making stuff, and then they have chocolate cake. They have cakes in there. They have lots of Italian foods.
The episode about the Berjol.
The Berjol. We also want, one of the episodes we watch all the time of Everybody Loves Raymond is the episode where Marie wants to make like tofu turkey.
Oh, she wants like a healthy Thanksgiving.
She wants to do a healthy Thanksgiving. And that's one of the episodes that make us laugh so much because, of course, the rest of the family wants a turkey. Actually, we could have pulled some Thanksgiving film. I'm sure there's a couple of Thanksgiving films
classic, too. Like they want like a classic Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah. The movie we forgot, Uncle Buck has a whole, because he makes that big breakfast, right?
Oh yeah.
Makes the big breakfast for the kids and everything. And then of course that's around Thanksgiving, but
also Bruce Almighty has a food scene. I think they like make like the world's biggest pancake or something in part of that.
I guess every movie. I think the thing we're realizing with these topics is every movie could be reclassified as a food film, a science fiction.
It'd be interesting if we did
genres don't exist.
2 or 3 or 4 like live streams in a row where like all the movies are the same, but like the topics change.
The topics change. That's right. Burnt from that's the one we were talking about earlier, right? Burnt. Is that the Bradley? We haven't seen that one. No. The Wegmans trip. That's going to be in the vlog.
Yeah.
A little bit of
Joey doesn't share food. That's from Friends.
Friends.
We just watched that clip of Friends where they drop the spaghetti.
Drop the spaghetti on the floor, and then Rachel says, "Oh, it's fine. I can live here. I can." And then he picks it up off the floor, right?
Because she's used to living at Monica's house, and Monica's like very clean
neat.
And neat and organized. And so he's like, "Oh, don't worry, you're at Joey's." And he's like, "Well, don't waste food."
Yeah. Is that the one where they Justin said they flip pancakes with a driveway size shovel?
I think that's.
Is that Bruce Almighty?
Bruce Almighty.
Bruce Almighty. Oh boy, I like. What's the other one? Evan Almighty. I like that one with Steve Carell.
Yeah, that one's good too.
Yeah. I have one more film here. Let's see if anybody can guess it. I'll just leave it over here for a minute, and then if anyone else has any other ideas, this one you may not be able to guess. This one. This might be a tough one to guess.
It would be, but it is true.
Yeah, definitely. This is I have to say, this is maybe a more obscure food film, but it's definitely a food film.
Oh, Uncle Buck, he flips the pancakes.
Uncle Buck, that's right, when he flips the pancake. Yeah, that's right.
Oh my gosh.
That's a great one. I love Uncle Buck. I don't think we watched that last year either. And we didn't watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Well, we tend to make it like a Thanksgiving movie. When we watch it, but it actually happens in February, I think.
Does it?
I think so.
Oh, it does. Yeah, you're right.
They mentioned that it's like February.
Oh,
because it's cold and everything. But he's great.
And what's everyone watching tonight? Or if you have questions too, let us know. And then I'll just wait a couple more minutes and I'll show the last one. But if you have any final guesses, let me know. But I think this one is a classic food film. Maybe not as well known, I feel like. And then I think we're going to order a pizza.
Yeah, I think so.
Because after all that, I don't have a copy of Mystic Pizza, but that's one of the ones we mentioned early on too. But
and I forgot the Ninja Turtles because I'm trying to get into the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
I need to see the 80s films because I remember them from
80s
when
films.
I was younger.
And also, if you have a topic for next week too, let us know. We were doing some serious topics too. I think we started with summer films, then we did road trip films, then we did spy films, we did coming of age films. So those live streams will be on the channel, and you can go back to those if you want, or if you haven't seen those before, or if you're watching this on replay too, you can check those out. There's a live stream lane on the channel, so you can watch those. What kind of pizza? Unfortunately, we don't have really good pizza here, but we do have a Domino's or Domino's, as Arthur says in King of Queens. Domino's. So we're probably just going to get a pepperoni pizza, I would say.
Right now our order is like thin crust.
We get the thin crust, yeah.
Extra cheese, extra pepperoni.
Yeah. And it's not bad. I mean, if it's the only pizza place.
I mean,
really
we have other
close by.
pizza places, but it's hard to spend a lot.
Have we ever gotten a Wegmans slice? Because they have the, next to the sub shop, they have the Wegmans, the pizzas and stuff.
You can order a whole pizza from Wegmans,
Yeah, but we haven't done that.
But we could.
I don't know. I think, and sometimes we make pizzas at home, but I don't think we're going to do that today.
I don't think so.
We'll have to go out in the rain. All right, I'm going to show the final one that I have, and this is a great one if you haven't seen it before. Still, you can still get it. I think this is First Cow, the Kelly Reichardt film, First Cow. This is a great one, and of course, two travelers on the run from a band of vengeful hunters in the 1820s Northwest dream of striking it rich, but their tenuous plan to make their fortune on the frontier comes to rely on the secret use of a wealthy businessman's prized dairy cow. So this is a great one, though. First Cow.
Because they make like a fried bread or something.
They make like a fried bread that becomes really popular in these early villages, and
they need the milk from the cow.
They need the milk from the cow. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, First Cow. So that's the last one I have in my stack. But let us know what you're watching tonight, or what you're eating later, or what you're making for dinner or lunch or breakfast, whatever it may be.
Whatever you want to talk about.
And what should we talk about next week too? I don't know. Do we have any ideas for next week? I was thinking maybe more of I was kind of saying that we've been doing some serious topics, and so this will maybe lead us into maybe some more comedic things.
Could be. I was thinking we could do like Criterion and Kino recommendations.
Next week, maybe we should do that. Yeah, Criterion recommendations and Kino recommendations next week.
Maybe do like a video for the channel, but we'd be able to talk about a lot more titles if we talked about it during the live.
Yeah, exactly. So next week we'll definitely talk about Criterion, and then if you have an idea, let us know. You can always leave a comment, and I try to answer as many comments as I can. Movies and then remakes is a topic. That's a good one too. We should note that one. Remakes would be good.
Yeah.
I hope they never remake Jaws, because that's one that I don't think should be remade. Beach films. We did talk about summer films, but we can talk about beach films too. Yeah. Maybe we can revisit beach films, or because it's going to be July. What is it? July 6th or something like that. Yeah.
Week,
Mm-hmm. Beach films or movies that, and keep in mind, if you suggest a topic, we're going to keep a list also. So we may not do it next week, but we may do it, at a later time. I was also thinking about, since we've been watching so many horror films, maybe older horror movies too, we could talk about.
Yeah.
That's one thing to do. So we have movies and then remakes as a topic, and then beach films. So we may pick one of those, but we'll definitely talk about Criterion next week, some Criterion recommendations and some Kino recommendations. Because I have a Kino tab open here too, I'll just mention a couple that I noticed. There is a movie called Blue Collar, which I've been thinking about getting the special edition for, which is a Paul Schrader film that was interesting. So that's one of the ones I noticed that's on the sale list. And Career Opportunities is on sale, which is a great one. Christmas in July is on sale, which is a good one. Coogan's Bluff, the Don Siegel films I was talking about earlier. I love this one also from John Barrymore called Counselor at Law. That's on sale. But I won't go through all these, but there are it looks like some 4Ks on sale. Also, that movie Curse of the Undead that we just picked up is on sale. We could have gotten it for, I think we paid a little bit over $10 for it, but it's around $10 on the site.
That's the Vampire Western.
That's the Vampire Western, which we really liked a lot. Great black and white movies. That's a great topic. So we'll definitely add that one, Justin. Thank you for that one. So anyway, I'll go through I don't usually share my screen, but I'll talk about some of the some of the Kino titles that I have. Actually, I'll probably pull some of the Kino titles I have next week, and I can
That
show
are in the
those.
sale,
I'll show
yeah.
them, and then you can see what they look like. But I'm so happy for Kino Lorber. Kino Lorber. There's a new live stream that they just did that Kino Lorber did called Shelf Space that I watched this last week. I don't know if anybody caught that, but Kino Lorber, I think, is going to be doing some live streams, which was really interesting. They had, I think, an executive on from Kino talking about how they choose films, the kind of the negotiations that they go through with the director and things like that. It was very fascinating. So check that out on the Kino YouTube channel. But I really enjoyed listening to that. And the fact that I can't remember the executive's name, but they talked with William Friedkin before he passed away about the Live and Die in LA release, which was nice. Check it out, Hall & Oates. It's really good. I thought it was really good, really insightful. There's some questions. They actually pick up questions from the chat, which is nice. And I'm sure they're going to do it again. It looks like a regular series.
And it seemed like they talked a little bit about like what's coming up, like some like behind the scenes kind of stuff.
Behind the scene. They give you some behind the scenes things. It seems like they're really. I just love Kino Lorber. I think Kino Lorber is an amazing company. I love Warner Archive also, and it's great to see a physical media company also continuing to make some deals and to release some films maybe that we haven't seen for a long time. I mean, Kino's done a great job releasing 4Ks also. It's nice to see the summer sales really heating up.
Yeah.
Summer sales heating up.
I think next week we'll probably talk about the Criterion Channel features for July.
Yeah, next week we'll talk about that. We can talk about that for sure. Criterion Channel, because Criterion always has a monthly feature if you have that. I think that's one of the most affordable streaming services also. I think it's $10 and it hasn't gone up. Luckily, I should not say anything about it because it probably will go.
Yeah, I think it's like $10 to $12 a month, and you can also buy a year once.
Yeah,
so you can get a discount if you buy a whole year at once.
Yeah, Sculder said it was a very good Kino stream. I thought it was great. I hope they continue to do it. I'm glad they took questions from the chat too. I stuck around too where they were asking some questions from the chat, and they were seemed very open and honest about it. I like how they talked about, again, the negotiations with the directors, these director-approved releases, which is great. Some lesser-known movies that you never thought you would see a 4K for, I think, is really good. Anyway, I'm definitely going to be putting together an order for Kino. I think we're sort of in the post area now too. The post area, or the post show. I don't know that we have anything else to talk about before we go get a pizza. But if you have any other questions, let us know, or we can end the live stream. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. We have to go out in the rain. I think that's the big challenge for today. We have to go out in the rain. I'm glad they revealed a few titles. Sculder also so again with the behind the scenes, you get a little bit of extra about what they're planning to do, or if there's I thought he talked about some releases get stalled also because they're waiting to hear back from the studio or from a director or something. So that that happens, which you would assume would happen. I almost asked in the chat about the Columbo extra features because Kino had this they have the 7 seasons of Columbo, and then they have all the TV movies after that, after the original 7 seasons, and there were a bunch of extra features on the Columbo season 1 through 7. They got dropped at the last minute. I almost asked about that, but I figured they probably wouldn't answer that because they had some licensing or some issues with the creators of Columbo. I think that's at least what I read about. So, but I think we're going to go order a pizza, and we'll be back next week for sure with one of the topics. We had black and white movies. We have some comedy movies. We were talking beach films, remakes. So we might talk about one of those. But thanks everyone for joining us today. We really appreciate it. We had a lot of fun. We always have a lot of fun. We'll be back on Saturday. I usually will leave a information on my community tab about when the live stream will be, or if it's, and I will confirm that in there. Justin, thank you so much. And thanks to everyone today for joining us. I know how busy everyone can be, and I really appreciate the fact that that people are here for the live stream. I really, it really means a lot to us. And we're going to keep going. We'll do these on Saturday, and we'll always have a topic. Next week, we'll also talk about the Criterion sale, which is going on all month, and then the Kino sale, which is going on for most of the month of July. So hope everyone has a great rest of the weekend, and hope you're watching something fun, and we'll talk to you very, very soon.